if I had a book sale for every time that people said woke is dead, cancel culture's dead, everything's good now in 2025, I'd be a gorillionaire at this point. But they are still here. And I was having a conversation with somebody about this who was saying, it's really been slowing down in culture. And I'm like, it's not. I'm finding these things and talking about it every day. However, what has changed is these tech platforms like this one and X have changed their algorithms to actually suppress these stories from going viral. This has been something that I've tested multiple times, A/B tested in different ways, both on this platform and others, and it is very much targeting, and it seems to be a targeting based on user interests. Like if you used to click on a lot of the content that talked about the cancel culture going on from the woke mob, they would actually adjust your settings. It doesn't seem to be on a channel level so that you don't see certain things and you don't get a lot of subscriptions in your feeds. I was seeing a live stream from a guy who with over 100,000 subscribers yesterday complaining that only about 500 people ever get his notifications. Absolutely crazy. We have live streams here too, and a lot of people, every single time I talk about it, I always get comments, I didn't even know you live streamed. Thursdays at 4 p.m. Pacific every week, guys. But this is a very interesting story, and it does need to be out there because the book publishing industry and the book writing community is the worst cancel culture out there, especially when it comes into like YA fantasy and dystopian fantasy and the like. You get some weird stuff in those levels, and we are here to cover it. This is your real fantasy news you won't get anywhere else, my friends. Please hit the like and subscribe button as we talk about all things in our cultures. And, of course, please do check out my YA fantasy. This is good, clean fantasy. It's airship adventure, lots of swashbuckling fun and action. A crew goes out, and they quest. They fight monsters. They get embroiled in a war. It's a 6-book series. Really good stuff, and despite, of course, all the mobs that have come at us all over the years, we've just been clocking along. I can't believe this book has sold over 30,000 copies. I appreciate you guys for being here. And it is available on ebook, print, and audio all the way through the entire series, so check it out. It's in the description below. And thank you so much for reading, my friends. It's a good thing. And make sure to get on my newsletter. As I mentioned, what can you do about the algorithm? The newsletter is the place where you can stay in contact with me so I don't lose you. I appreciate everybody for being here, especially everybody who is a reader. And so it's not happening. Okay, it's happening, and that's a good thing. If you disagree, it's a good thing. That's violence. That means anything I do is self-defense, says Kristen here. And she is a YouTuber also who does a lot of good work and a lot of good coverage. But she says last week, a lady I'd never spoken to or heard of was driven off of Twitter. How dare you, dead name X. Jeez. Her crime? Author Jordan Lee noticed that literary agents weren't interested in the kinds of books she was writing, specifically because she's white, straight, and female, and her characters are all straight. She didn't spell this out, but I assume her main characters are all white as well. This is many such cases. I've talked to a lot of literary agents over the years. There is a definite concerted push, especially in YA, especially in the fantasy genres, to make sure that the characters are not white and that the characters are not straight. They want LGBTQ representation in everything. They will not even consider it. If you're a white male specifically, you'll really not get considered. We actually covered one a few weeks back about a man who got pretty far with a literary agent, said the book was great, but because his culture was kind of Indian-ish and he was kind of white-ish, she couldn't buy it because of that. And it's like, so wait, you can't write about, brown-skinned people because you're white, but you only have to have brown-skinned people in the books, otherwise you're not going to buy it too. So you see the conundrum. It's just hating white people. These people are absolutely racist, and they're evil, and that's what's going on right here. So this is Jordan Lee. She says, reasons I think I'm being rejected. 1, I wrote another young adult dystopian novel. 2, I'm querying a debut novel that is first in a trilogy. 3, I am a straight cis white female who writes straight cis females. 4, my query is weak. For those of you not understanding why I mentioned that I think a reason I'm being rejected is because I write cisgender characters in heterosexual relationships, because that's what I can relate to, have experience with. I've seen this a lot of lit agents, MSWL, that's manuscript wish list speak. So what goes on in the, quote, writing community on all these things is they have different submission sessions where they like pitch things online, and then people kind of critique them together, and then people whine about not being published and the like online. And so this is a big circle on X that it's thousands of people who do this. It's kind of weird to me. I just publish my own stuff because I know that it doesn't go anywhere, and you know who decides? The readers, and the readers tell me my books are pretty good, so it works out pretty well. I much more care about those metrics than I care about some person who calls themselves an agent mattering, because those people are gatekeeping based on politics. Those people are gatekeeping based on what they want to present and what kind of worldview they want to present on things. And it's been a cancer, especially in science fiction and fantasy, for a long, long time. This is absolutely accurate. She's getting piled on because she's a straight white female writing about straight white females. And you are required at this point to be writing about gay stuff or trans stuff or whatever stuff at this juncture. That's what's absolutely crazy. And remember, this is YA, young adult. This is geared towards and aimed at people who are 14, 15, 16. It is definitely a weird little grooming market that's being controlled here. So they piled on her and of course, demanded her compliance. And this is where it gets crazy. You're not free to write whatever you want to write anymore. And here's some of the stuff that they were saying. No one writes my writing because I'm a straight cis white female who writes cis straight white females. I can tell you whining like this because you're in a position of privilege is not how you get an agent either. Pretty ironic there, calling a position of privilege not being able to get her book sold, right? How about it? And that's just a thought. We check our white cis het privilege, and instead of whining, you try to uplift those who are right now actively being silenced and erased, as this person is actively being silenced and erased. It's ironic, and this is exactly what they're doing. They try to invert everything. They're trying to, of course, harm white people. They want white people out of everything, and it's weird because they're all white ladies who are doing this 100% of the time. Only a mediocre writer can't write from perspectives that don't match their own. Why should your book be published when your writing apparently isn't up to par with industry standard? Now, what's really funny is if you go into these YA sort of books all the time and you listen to a lot of these authors, a lot of them are just like thinly veiled self-inserts in all of these things. And when it's a black person or a lesbian person, or whatever, they clap for it as if that's a brave and stunning thing. So it is just basically a double standard based on identity 100% of the time, all the way around. And as you can see, they keep going, uplift and promote marginalized voices as much as possible. Well, this woman's being marginalized because she's a white straight person, isn't she? So wouldn't she be a person who needs to do this? And this is, of course, an agency. They value themselves on representing authors who bring positive intention to the community. Oh, joy. And so this is it right here. And, of course, this agent goes further. And they keep on going over and over and over again and don't stop, right? Now, I never interact with any of these people because I just don't engage with the writing community. Because what I've found about the, quote, writing community online is that it's a bunch of people who are complaining about writing, who never get anything done, who never actually sell any books, and then they all complain together. But you're allowed to complain about some things and not other things, I guess. And it's just a big waste of time. And it's a bunch of authors who follow other authors and then try to get follow backs by following so that they can look like they have bigger followings than they actually have. It is one big stupid clout structure that does nothing. And I just am not interested in engaging in anything like that. Very, very funny stuff. White people and their audacity. You see how it is just anti-white racism at this point. Majority of the 4 people voicing support in the comments on her newer post are all definitely male MAGA anti-woke authors, which is a crazy crowd to align yourself with, says this other white woman right here. And absolutely crazy stuff that they have to go on. Now, this woman got bullied off of X. She did delete her account for a little bit because she just didn't want to deal with it. And that is exactly what goes on every single time. It's like, and these women can't handle these mobs coming at them. I can handle it on a daily basis pretty much, but I'm a strong cis white male as it is. But here's the thing. When she starts calling it cisgender, blah, 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 she's using their terminology and kind of agreeing that this type of stuff's out there. And what I found out later on when she came back online, she actually posted a post saying, I'm not a homophobe or a transphobe. I have a family member who's transgender. She did the many of my best friends are transgender. And she was trying to virtue signal to the same audience that was canceling her. Well, there's your mistake right there. Those people don't buy books. They're not interested in books. They're not interested in your straight white books. You already know this. So trying to garner their favor by virtue signaling is a stupid response to this. And it made me feel a lot less bad about this situation. Now, I get it because, again, a lot of these people are just trying to be socially accepted, and that's what they want, and especially when it comes to women. This is a lot of what goes on in this sort of situation. But at the same time, that is a big mistake. You've already been identified as other. They don't care. It's never enough for the Inquisition. You're never going anywhere on that level. So what's my advice for any sort of writer out there who's especially white and not wanting to give into this game? Just publish yourself. It's a stupid thing at this point. There is no point to trying to get a literary agent and do things. Even if you do so, a lot of these people only get like $2,000 advances for their books. They never pan out in advances because a lot of these companies do not have any marketing whatsoever. I actually know that there's a big prominent science fiction and fantasy company that does not have any publicist working for the company, not a single one. And I've watched as book releases have gone out there, and those book releases have sold less than 100 copies on their release day. I've tracked them, and it's absolutely crazy that that's going on, but that is what these companies do. They try to just get as many as possible out there, and they're hoping it's like a roulette wheel that they're going to get one that's going to be a big Brandon Sanderson or Sarah J. Maas or something like that. And when those come out there and those make millions, those actually pay for the rest of their deals. So they're not interested in you unless you happen to have that sort of hit on the roulette wheel, and that's just gambling at the end of the day. But you can build a career by yourself. Now, look, like I said, this book has sold 30,000 copies. I'm selling well over 1,000 books a month for my various series. Now, that's not something that's like going to make a New York Times bestseller list or anything like that, but I am able to make a living at this because of all of that, and that's a good thing. And so you have the ability to do that, but you have to learn some skills. You have to learn some marketing. You have to, of course, learn a way to build a platform for yourself to get out there. And that's my advice to people who, of course, are white and straight, because they don't want you in the publishing industry. So why should you want them? All right, guys, please leave a comment down below. Hit the like and subscribe button. Sign up for my newsletter just so I don't lose you. Remember, there's algorithmic things that are going on right now that are big deals. And make sure to check out my For Steam and Country in the description below. Really appreciate you reading. We'll be back soon.